hairstylist in London on Saturday. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the tackle?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was not a good day for both of LA's baseball teams. The Dodgers and Angels were swept in three-game series on Sunday. The Dodgers lost at home to Houston 5-1. They start a six-game road trip tonight at Milwaukee. The Angels fell 3 games below 500 after losing 3-2 at Toronto. The Angels are back home tonight against Texas. The Dodgers will have 3 players in the starting lineup for the All-Star Game July 15th in Atlanta: catcher Will Smith, first baseman Freddie Freeman, and designated hitter Shohei Ohtani. Clayton Kershaw, who got his 3,000th career strikeout last week, was invited as a Legends pick. Michael Vick will make his coaching debut at HBCU Norfolk State on national TV. ESPN is making plans to televise Norfolk State's season opener against Towson State on Thursday night, August 28th. Kickoff is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tavis Smiley. Glad to have you with us today in this hour of our program. Last summer, Elise Bryant burst onto the scene with her first adult mystery called It's Elementary, to great fanfare. The book was featured everywhere, from Good Morning America to the New York Times to People Magazine and beyond. Well, just in time for the book's release tomorrow, Elise Bryant honors us by joining us in this hour, for the hour, to talk about her new novel, The Game is Afoot, the eagerly anticipated follow-up, which takes another hilarious and poignant look at the full scope of motherhood that isn't always shown in contemporary portrayals, certainly as it relates to black women. So I'm delighted to have Elise Bryant on this program. Elise, congratulations, a day before Pub Day. How you feeling?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm feeling excited, but also very nervous to have people read this book.
So why are you nervous? Why the first one killed? Why are you so nervous?
The pressure. Can I do it again? I love this book. I think it's really funny, and I hope readers will like it too. But you just never know what's going to happen this week.
Yeah. How have you processed, since you went there? Let me follow you as I will throughout the hour. That is my way. this is not this, obviously I've done this more times than I can count in the course of my career, interviewing everybody about that sophomore jinx, and I've done it with writers, I've done it with music artists, I've done it with screenwriters, I've done it with everybody. You get to that second project, and everybody's expecting the same kind of success, if not more, from your sophomore outing. So how have you been processing that kind of pressure, given how well the first one did?
I think I just have to, yeah, there is a lot of pressure. And actually, it's my second mystery for adults, but it's actually my fifth book because
Sure.
I put out three teen romances before that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had to learn just to trust myself, I guess, trust that the same person who wrote those other books, the same person who put out the best product possible, can do it again. If I thought those other books were good, if I thought they were funny, then hopefully readers will think the same thing too. Because if you spend too long, chasing that approval, chasing what other people want, then you'll get lost in the process.
No question about it. We're going to spend the hour talking about these books. Again, the latest one, which drops tomorrow, we really want to get into. It's called The Game is Afoot. Before I do that, though, Elise is a local girl. I mean, I don't mean to call her a girl, but she's a local personality. I'm a local guy. She's a local girl. And I'm always fascinated by these stories of people who are like literally just around the corner. So this program is syndicated. We're heard all across the country. For that, as I always say, I am eternally grateful. But I'm always fascinated by the stories of people who are literally just around the corner, particularly persons who have the kind of backstory that you have. So for all of y'all listening right now in Southern California, at least take your time. We got an hour here. Give the audience a sense of your backstory and why I'm referring to you as a local sister.
Yeah, so born and raised in LA County. I grew up in Cerritos. I now live in Long Beach. I've lived here since 2006. I grew up going to Cal State Long Beach's Young Writers Camp when I was a kid. My parents would drive me over there. I went to Orange County High School of the Arts in order to study creative writing when I was a teenager. And my stories are very centered here in Southern California. I don't think my books could take place anywhere else. They're a celebration of Black culture here, but also a celebration of just like all of the diversity of cultures here. I really want that to be seen and celebrated in my books.
Yeah, take that, Spike Lee. Spike centers everything in New York, and Elise Bryant centers everything in Southern California. So I am mad at her about that. Take me back to that take me back to that Long Beach Writers Camp, Cal State Long Beach Writers Camp. And I want to just you've already shouted them out. But this is the best advertisement for them ever. That a kid who went to their writers camp every summer is now a best-selling author.
Yeah, I really I credit them and all of the different programs that my parents put me in as a kid. They saw how much I loved to write, and they encouraged that every step of the way. There's that Toni Morrison quote. Make sure I get it right. If there's a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it. And that has really been like the through line of all of the books that I've published so far and all of the books that I still want to put out. I was, as a Black kid growing up in Cerritos, I was, one of few Black kids actually in my class. And I just wanted to find books with kids that looked like me. They existed in the 90s, but they weren't so much at my schools. And a lot of the stories that we did have, they centered our struggles, they centered trauma, which is important for us to read. It's definitely important for our kids to like get that history. But I also think it's important for us to have a balance, and I wanted books with Black girls that were funny or were love stories or where they're going on adventures. And so that's really what I tried to do as a kid, was write these stories starring me or a girl that was a lot like me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when I eventually started publishing in my 30s, I went back to that. What were the books I needed? And then I was a teacher too. So what were the books that my students needed? I was a teacher in South LA.
Yeah. You left that part of the story out when I asked you about your backstory, but trust me, I was going to go there.
Yeah.
If you hadn't gotten there, I was going to get there. So now that we've laid the foundation, you know a little bit about Elise Bryant's backstory. When we come forward, I want to get to what it meant to have been a teacher for as long as she was. And how that informs the books that she writes. We'll talk about her not publishing until she was in her 30s. That isn't old, but there are a lot of writers who get started sooner than that. And we'll talk about that part as well. And, of course, we're going to get into the books. The one that just burst onto the scene, that she burst onto the scene with last year, called It's Elementary. And the new one, which drops tomorrow, is called The Game is Afoot. We are delighted for the rest of this hour to be in conversation with award-winning and now best-selling novelist Elise Bryant on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
I'm Tavis Smiley. Glad to have you with us in this hour as we continue our conversation with Elise Bryant. She has a new book dropping tomorrow. It's called The Game is Afoot, after her debut mystery novel last year called It's Elementary. She's on a roll. And again, I'm celebrating already what I know is going to be the success of this latest mystery novel, which again drops tomorrow. I am always thrilled and pleased when authors choose this program to come on in advance of their work even coming out. So I hope you appreciate it as do I, that we get a chance to talk to her today before the book even drops tomorrow. So we thank Elise Bryant for putting us on her docket today. Elise, as I said a moment ago, if you hadn't gotten there, I was going to get there anyway. So I'm glad you went there. Tell me about your time in the classroom. And I'm asking that as broadly because I want to give you, as broadly as I did, to give you as much canvas as you need to paint. So tell me about being in the classroom.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, my dream was always to be a writer. But by the time I was, 16, 17, I really started to doubt my ability to do that. I started to think that like maybe these stories that I was writing, these love stories, these funny stories were not serious literature, they were not going to build a career for me. And so I decided to go into teaching, and not like how some people are like, well, if you can't do, teach. But I really love teaching. It became my joy and my passion. It became a great love, even more so than writing was for a long time. So I was a special ed teacher. I was an RSP, middle school teacher for 3 years. And then I was a high school SDP or special day program teacher for 6 years. And like I said, it was just the greatest joy of my life. I taught English and reading classes for kids with different disabilities. And something that came up a lot in my classes was reading, and specifically my students' hatred of reading, which was so hard for me to understand, because reading was, my only hobby growing up, and then writing. And so it became my mission to convince my students, you don't hate reading, you just haven't found the right book yet.
Yes.
And they weren't always on board. They're always like, Miss, this is boring. Why are you making us do this? But I slowly found those books that gave my students access into the joy of literature. And I realized so much of that was finding characters that looked like them, characters that they could relate to. And then also, again, finding those light, happy, funny stories that could be escapism, love stories. My students loved love stories too. And after doing that for 9 years, I started to think, this is what I did as a kid. I was writing these stories for myself. Could I, and my students are looking for those stories now. Yeah. Is this something I could do? Could I write a book? And it was actually another teacher at my school who is also a published author now. One day we were all sitting and having lunch together, and she was like, we could do this. And I went home that day and started writing my first book, because I really believe, I could do this. And that love for my students, that passion for finding good literature for them, is what carried me through writing my first book.
You said a few things I want to interrogate now. This is getting good, as we say around here, so let me jump and make the most of this time. I've said many times, more times than I can count, as this audience will attest, that I believe that teachers are the most undervalued resource in our country. To my mind, make no mistake about it, teachers are the most undervalued resource in our country. So I've spent time with many teachers over the years who have talked about the joy of being in the classroom. You used the phrase, the greatest joy of your life. But you were teaching, as you mentioned, special ed children. What brings, what animates your joy to the point of being the greatest joy of your life, being able to teach kids in special education?
Yeah, so my older brother is disabled, and so I grew up sitting in his IEP meetings, seeing the struggles that my parents had to advocate for him and get him the resources that he deserved. My brother is my favorite person. He's the funniest person I know. And he is the highlight of all of my best childhood memories. And so when it came time to decide where I wanted to teach, what I wanted to teach, it just felt like the right fit for me. I knew that I could, if not always give my students exactly what they needed, I knew I would not give up to try and find what that was. I wanted to be an advocate for them. I wanted to make sure that they were treated the way that they deserved. And then also, the reason I love teaching special ed is because to be with students with disabilities, to be with students that are neurodivergent, the way that they see the world and the way that they communicate, the way that they do things, it's just, it's exciting and fascinating and life-changing to be privy to that every day, to see the world a different way, to learn how to communicate a different way. It kind of felt like a puzzle or a game some days to try and figure out, okay, this is what I want them to learn. How can I make it fun for them? How can I make it accessible for them? It was like a new challenge every day. And honestly, so I've been out of the classroom since 2019. But my students, like, they still show up for me. They still connect with me. They find my books on shelves. They're like my biggest cheerleaders still.
It's a beautiful story. Before you found the courage to go home that night, the night you referenced earlier, and start writing your book, before you found that courage, you mentioned earlier in this conversation that there was a point in your life where you doubted yourself. Even though you had dreams throughout your childhood of being a writer, you got to a point where you doubted yourself and you went into teaching. And then, of course, you had that aha moment. You went home and you started writing that night. But take me back to that moment where you started doubting yourself with regard to whether or not you could be a great writer. Obviously, you can, but tell me about that moment of doubt.
Yeah, so I actually went to a high school that was focused on the arts. I went to Orange County High School of the Arts, and I was in the Creative Writing Conservatory. And so that was the first time that I had ever shared my writing face to face with people. Before that, I would post my stuff online. I would write fan fiction, boy band fan fiction. But I went to this school. It was this very prestigious school, and I was so excited to be in a community of writers to share my writing with people. But very quickly, my anxiety and my imposter syndrome took over. I was also one of very few Black students at the school entirely. I was usually the only Black student in my creative writing classes. And so I absorbed all of these notions that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't as good as everyone else there. Even though I had, my parents at home validating me and affirming me, I still just absorbed those negative messages and completely gave up. I stopped writing when I was a teenager and didn't start again until that day when I was almost 30 as a teacher. And so it's something that I actually interrogate with my work now, my books for teenagers. I write romances and coming of age stories about Black girls. And that's something they cope with too, is anxiety, imposter syndrome, depression, and through my books, I kind of heal what I went through, and then hopefully give a message and a path for teenage girls now that their voices do matter, that if they think their work is good, then it is good. It doesn't matter what anyone else says, that they deserve to have that seat at the table. So I'm able to very, very much heal a part of myself that was struggling at 17.
You're almost to the point of answering the question I want to ask right now. Let me just push you across the finish line on this particular part of our conversation. Share with me and the audience some of your takeaways for those who may be listening right now, anywhere in this country, who are wrestling with this notion of imposter syndrome. You've learned some lessons, obviously, that you were sharing in your writings. But tell me what some of the takeaways are from having survived or navigated your way through this period where you doubted yourself and were wrestling with this notion of imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it's been a hard one lesson. And I feel like it's now I'm 36 now, and I feel like I am still learning them. I'm still relearning them. And so one thing I've learned is that all of the grace that I give other people, all of the assuming of good intentions, the admiration that I give other people, I deserve to give that to myself too. I deserve to be my own best advocate, and that's something that I've really worked on the past few years. And then I've also learned the importance of asking for help, receiving help from your, friends and family, but also from professionals. I've started going to therapy. I've started taking medication, and I think there can be a really big stigma in the Black community about those things. That they make you weak, that they're not for us. And so those things have been life-changing for me, especially going to therapy. And it's something that I try to put into all of my books. There's my characters learning that what they need and how to accept it without shame, that they deserve all of that care too. And that's a big piece in this new book, The Game is Afoot, too.
Two other questions before we jump straight away into The Game is Afoot when we come forward. Glad we have Elise Bryant for the hour. But this backstory is always important, as you know, to establishing who we're talking to and why we're talking to them and why the conversation matters. We just got 2 minutes right quick here now. We'll continue, of course, when we come forward, but 2 questions in 2 minutes. You quoted Toni Morrison earlier, who I knew and loved. So who were you reading when you weren't writing?
As a kid, my favorite authors were Meg Cabot. She wrote the Princess Diaries series. I read those books as a kid, and I was like, this is what I want to write, these very funny, voicey stories. When I was in college, it was actually the first time I ever read books by Black authors for school, for my classes. Sure. And that is when I found Octavia Butler. She just totally opened my worldview to what Black literature could be and what could be done on the page.
Yeah, we were talking earlier today on our program. Today happens to be the 6-month anniversary of those fires, the LA wildfires. We were talking earlier in today's program with my colleague James Farr about, of course, the Altadena fire and the recovery there. He says it's not really recovery right now; it's still relief. We had just an amazing conversation with him, reflecting on this 6-month journey. And so, when you think of Altadena, you think of Pasadena, and I think of Octavia Butler. So I'm so delighted. Yes. I'm so delighted to hear Elise Bryant raise the name of Octavia Butler. My other question, right quick, before we come forward here, is what your takeaways were. About 90 seconds here. What did you learn from exposing those students in those special ed classes, as you said earlier, to characters that they could relate to?
It showed me just how important it is for kids for their self-confidence, for their sense of self, to be exposed to characters like them. It made them feel seen. It made them feel validated. It made them feel like maybe some things that they didn't like about themselves were okay because they liked this character that had those things. So it was just, yeah, so exciting to see that click in a student's head when they found a character that was just like them.
So that's the backstory to who Elise Bryant is and why she exists and what she has done. We'll spend the rest of this hour talking about the here and the now. She burst, as I said earlier, onto the scene last year with a book called It's Elementary. She is back. Will be tomorrow, at least, when the book drops, with a new one called The Game is Afoot. Her latest novel. We'll jump into that when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. More than 80 people are dead after massive flash flooding in central Texas. Holly Kate Hurley is a counselor at Camp Mystic, where 27 campers and counselors died in the flooding.
In the morning, they gathered all the counselors who were at Cypress Lake, and they told us that two of the cabins with the 7-year-old girls were wiped away.
Search and rescue efforts are ongoing, with children and one counselor from the camp still unaccounted for. Sleeping with the lights on could increase chances of heart disease. In a study out of Australia, researchers found that people who slept near the brightest lights had the highest risk of heart failure, heart attacks, and stroke. And Scary Spice tied the knot. Mel B married a hairstylist in London on Saturday. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was not a good day for both of LA's baseball teams. The Dodgers and Angels were swept in 3-game series on Sunday. The Dodgers lost at home to Houston 5-1. They start a 6-game road trip tonight at Milwaukee. The Angels fell 3 games below 500 after losing 3-2 at Toronto. The Angels are back home tonight against Texas. The Dodgers will have 3 players in the starting lineup for the All-Star Game July 15th in Atlanta: catcher Will Smith, first baseman Freddie Freeman, and designated hitter Shohei Ohtani. Clayton Kershaw, who got his 3,000 career strikeout last week, was invited as a Legends pick. Michael Vick will make his coaching debut at HBCU Norfolk State on national TV. ESPN is making plans to televise Norfolk State's season opener against Towson State on Thursday night, August 28th. Kickoff is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. I do not consider myself a fan of Sean Puffy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy Love, Brother Love Combs. But one doesn't have to be a fan to acknowledge a simple truth about his recent jury trial. I think the primary reason he was acquitted of those sex trafficking and RICO charges is because he was overcharged in the first place. Mine is not to opine on his guilt or innocence on any of the charges the feds brought against him. But I predicted months ago that he would beat the most serious charges because, as usual, prosecutors have a really bad habit of overcharging black men. Dave Chappelle said it best, Puffy is in a RICO case all by himself, man. Hilarious and arresting at the same time. When prosecutors put a target on the backs of black men, they throw everything at them just to see what sticks. And too often, just like in the Puffy case at the very end, they move to dismiss some of the charges and then double down on the ones they think they can win. It's racist and it's wrong, and somebody ought to say so. I think I just did. Not for the benefit of Puffy, but on behalf of all the other black men who have been and sadly will be woefully overcharged in the future. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Freedom is an endless meeting, so let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
For all of you fans of Mississippi Mass Choir, I include myself in that, being born in Mississippi. The news has just come that Mama Mosey Burks has passed away. If you are a fan of gospel music and a fan, again, of the Mississippi Mass Choir, you know Mama Mosey Burks. This is her on this track. She also sings the lead on the song that Scott Van Pelt uses every night on ESPN. You know the song he plays all the time? I ain't tired yet, I'm not tired yet. That's Mama Mosey Burks leading that song as well, that Scott Van Pelt plays every night on ESPN. Think about this. You got an ESPN host playing gospel music from Mississippi every night on SVP. We celebrate the life and legacy. News in just now that Mama Mosey Burks has passed away. Turn it up, Odell. Turn it up. Mama Mosey Burks of the Mississippi Mass Choir has passed away in Jackson, and we send our thoughts and prayers out to the Burks family. But she left a grand legacy, one that will be playing for years to come. Again, not just in Black America, but her stuff was so powerful and so strong that a network like ESPN uses it night in and night out. It's one of the theme songs for Scott Van Pelt's show. And so I just want to get that news to you as quickly as it came to me. I'm Tavis Smiley. Our guest in this hour is the award-winning and best-selling author, Elise Bryant. Her new book, which drops tomorrow, is called The Game is Afoot. It follows last year's major success called It's Elementary. So I want to just take a few minutes here, Elise, to let you go back to It's Elementary first. For those who may be introduced to you for the first time, again, you've written a number of books, but in this mystery series, we're now on book number 2. So take me back first to It's Elementary. Set the stage for The Game is Afoot, and then we'll jump to that one as well.
Okay. So It's Elementary. It came out last summer. It is a cozy mystery, that follows Mavis Miller, who is a single mom to a 7-year-old named Pearl. Mavis is so not a PTA mom, but she still finds herself voluntold to join the PTA board by the terrifying PTA president, Tricia. But after she goes to her first meeting, it's a very contentious meeting. And that night she sees the PTA president dragging trash bags out to the back of her minivan. Ooh. And then the next morning, the principal is missing. The principal who the PTA president hated. Mm. And so Mavis decides that she is the only person that knows what's going on and the only person that can solve this mystery.
Mm. Before I get to The Game is Afoot, tell me how you came up with Mavis Miller.
Well, she's not me, but there's a lot of me in her. I have a 13-year-old and I have a 9-year-old, so I have been in these PTA streets for a while. Mm. I was always a member, but in 2020, I actually joined the board because, we all know what the summer of 2020 was like, and they realized there wasn't a lot of Black people or Black moms on the board. So I was asked to join, and it was an experience. I actually just left the board this past month. So I did it for 5 years, and it was an experience. I met some of the best people ever. I met some of the most difficult to work with people ever. And it was really interesting to see how we all had the same goal of doing what's best for our kids. But a lot of times, one person's idea of what was best for their kids took away what was best for other kids. And that was something I wanted to explore in It's Elementary.
Mm-hmm. So that sets the stage for the new one, which drops tomorrow, called The Game is Afoot. We don't want to give too much of this one away because it ain't dropped yet, but tell me about The Game is Afoot.
Yes. So it's a sequel to It's Elementary, but you could pick it up without reading It's Elementary. But it picks up right after the events of It's Elementary. And Mavis, after solving this other mystery, she really wants to learn how to rest and to practice self-care because her whole life has centered around her daughter and her job. She thinks she's out of the mystery solving game, but her daughter's soccer coach drops dead on the field after one of the games, and Mavis decides that maybe, solving a mystery would be better for her mental health right now than going to therapy.
Yeah. Talk to me about the ways in which you have this particular mother, this Black mother, showing up in novels, showing up in this series in ways that we don't see Black mothers show up in novels or other books for that matter.
Yeah. So, it goes back to that Toni Morrison quote I brought up before.
Yeah.
Writing the book that I wanted to write a motherhood experience that felt true to me, because I feel like too often the portrayals we get of Black mothers, they're on total opposite ends of the spectrum. They're either awful, bad moms or completely perfect, because I think sometimes when there's any nuance, outsiders will look at that and read it as bad. They'll read it as a bad mom. I don't think Black moms are given grace in the same way that white moms are in all kinds of media. Mm-hmm. White moms, they can, that image of them showing up in sweatpants or maybe drinking a little too much wine. That's pretty common, but their fitness as moms isn't questioned in the way that Black moms will be questioned and judged so harshly. And so that's why I wanted to write Mavis, this mom who, like me, is a little messy, who makes mistakes, but we see her trying her best, and it's never questioned if she's a good mom, or if she loves her kid. She questions herself, which I think is something that's relatable to a lot of moms, never feeling like we're doing enough. But the reader can see that she's a good mom, even when she makes mistakes.
I want you to get both. The one that came out last summer is called It's Elementary. The one that drops tomorrow is called The Game is Afoot. The author of both is our guest right now, Elise Bryant. When we come forward, our remaining moments with her, and then we're going to shout our way out of here today in celebration of Mama Mosey Burks before we wrap, Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent. And the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. My privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
The new novel from Elise Bryant, The Game is Afoot, drops tomorrow. And before she heads out around the country, if you are in Southern California, she's at Bel Canto Books tomorrow in Long Beach. That's tomorrow, the day the book drops. Why not? Because she lives in Long Beach, as she said earlier. So she's at Bel Canto Books tomorrow in Long Beach, and then Reparations Club in L.A. on the following day, the 9th of July. So the 8th, the day the book drops, she's at Bel Canto in Long Beach. If you're you're in Southern California, the next day, Reparations Club in L.A. I love people who are right about home and start at home before they hit the country, signing books. So we are fortunate to have Elise Bryant here in Southern California. You can see her again tomorrow in Long Beach, or the following day, that would be Wednesday, in L.A. at Reparations Club, Bel Canto Books in Long Beach. I've got just another minute and a half, 2 minutes here left. Elise, I will give it all to you before we close with our tribute to Mother Mosey Burks of the Mississippi Mass Choir, who passed away today. In case you just tuned in and have not heard that, we'll close with a tribute to her. But you've been giving great credit in these books for balancing real issues with humor and with levity. I didn't want to give too much away about the game as a foot, but maybe it's just wrestling with some real issues. But again, you do a great job of balancing those real issues in her life with humor, with levity. Tell me why and how you do that.
Yeah. So in The Game is Afoot, she's really wrestling with giving herself care, giving herself rest. Mainly because that was something I've been wrestling with too. I was very much, raised that we got to hustle and we got to grind, and that's what I owe to myself and owe to my family. And I feel guilty and selfish to take care of myself. And I think a lot of moms can relate to that. A lot of Black women can relate to that. So she learns in this book, not to give too much away, but she does learn that she deserves to get care just as much as the care she gives her daughter. And the reason I like to have these big issues while also making them fun is I think that we need a little spoonful of sugar sometimes with these big issues. We need the joy to balance out all of the hard things that we cope with as moms, as Black women in this country. So I want my readers to always have fun, but I also want to show that their issues, I want them to see that their issues are reflected, that the struggles they're going through are real, but they still deserve joy and love and happiness through all of those.
The one that came out last year for the third and final time is called It's Elementary. That's what broke her out last year, and now everybody wants to read Elise Bryant, and you can tomorrow. When the new one drops, it's called The Game is Afoot. Once again, she's at Bel Canto Books in Long Beach. If you're in Southern California, tomorrow, the day the book drops, the following day, Wednesday, Reparations Club in L.A. Elise, congrats on what I know is going to be another great success, even bigger than the first. Thank you for choosing this platform before the book even drops tomorrow, and nothing but the best to you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so great.
It's been an honor to have had you on this program. Thank you very, very much. When we come forward, we will close with a tribute to Mama Mosey Burks, that great lead singer for the Mississippi Mass Choir. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI. It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
As we close today's program, we got word earlier that in this hour that Mama Mosey Burks, one of the lead singers for the Mississippi Mass Choir, passed away today. I played one of her big hits earlier, but this is the one that you hear if you're a sports fan. SVP, in case you didn't know this, plays this song all the time. It comes from Mississippi Mass, and it is Mama Mosey Burks who does the lead singing on this. Again, she passed away today in Jackson, Mississippi, and so we close this program in tribute to her. We're going to shout our way out of here. Until tomorrow, thanks for listening. As always, keep the faith.
Jesus a long time. I'm not tired yet. Been working for Jesus a long time. I'm not tired yet. Been working for Jesus a long time. I'm not tired yet. Been singing for Jesus a long time. I'm not tired yet. Been singing for Jesus a long time. I'm not tired yet. Been running by day and praying by night. I'm not tired yet. I got to keep going. It's a mighty hard fight.
KBLA 1580.